From the OUTV Broadcast Center in Los Angeles, California, this is Brief News Brief, a brief look at today's trending news topics, proudly combating the thought police since 2016. Here's your host, James Heaney.
I'm James Heaney, and this is your Brief News Briefing. Robert Mueller may be ready to interview Donald Trump. Trump's lawyers are busy trying to figure out how to get him out of this whole ordeal. But Mueller raised the issue of interviewing Trump during a late December meeting with the president's lawyers. This was the meeting where Trump's lawyers were supposed to sit down with Mueller and tell him to wrap this thing up by the end of the year, which didn't happen. Trump says that he's comfortable participating in an interview and believes it would put to rest questions about whether his campaign coordinated with the Russians in the 2016 election. However, the president's attorneys are reluctant to let him sit down for an open-ended, face-to-face questioning without clear parameters. They have discussed whether the president could just, provide written answers to some of the questions that Mueller's investigators have. But can Trump write an essay about his involvement with the Russian hacking into the 2016 election? What do you think? For a man who doesn't know how to read, it might be hard to put that skill into writing. I guess it's kind of like teaching. Those who can do and those who cannot teach. Those who can read, and those who cannot write essays about their involvement in Russians? Veteran prosecutors say it is unlikely that Mueller would agree to have any witness, even the president, submit a declaration or provide written answers to questions to avoid a sit-down meeting. There are times when the best information you can get out, you need to look at body movement and see what kind of things he's going to do at the table. Behind a pen and paper, let's be honest, anybody could write it. The world needs a fairy tale right now. Oprah for president. Is Oprah America's fairy godmother president? She gives away free cars, you get a car, you'll get a car, look under your chair, a car. She gives you great tips on what to read. She tells you how to live your best life. You don't just want to get a beer with this woman. You want to let your guard down, and you want to cry your eyes out on her shoulders. She sat in the living room of millions of Americans every afternoon, talking to people and listening to them. On Sunday, Oprah gave a rip-roaring speech at the Golden Globes that teed off water cooler chats around the country, wondering to themselves, was Oprah that next shockingly unthinkable celebrity presidential candidate that we can't imagine and then can't stop thinking about? For Oprah, running for office would mean giving up a life in which she does literally whatever she wants and says whatever she wants. She's in the new Disney Wrinkle in Time movie because she felt like it. But that's kind of what Trump's life was like, too. It's America. Anything's possible. Flavor of the month or flavor of the next roaring 20s. North Korea agreed on Tuesday to send athletes to February's Winter Olympics in South Korea, a symbolic breakthrough after months of escalating tensions over North's rapidly advancing nuclear and missile programs. The event will be the first time North Korea has participated in the Winter Games in 8 years. South Korean officials must still nail down the travel route, lodging, and other logistics of a North Korean Olympic delegation. They are also expected to propose that the two delegations march together behind a unified North Korea flag during the opening and closing ceremonies of the Olympics, a symbolic gesture for the peninsula that was divided into the Soviet-backed North and pro-America South upon the liberation from Japan's colonial rule at the end of World War II. On Monday, government officials announced that nearly 200,000 people from El Salvador, who've been allowed to live in the United States for more than a decade, must leave the country. This is the Trump administration's latest reversal of years of immigration policy. Homeland Security officials declare that they are ending the humanitarian program known as Temporary Protection Status, TPS. I always think a TPS report is something you need to do over the weekend because your asshole boss won't let you off the hook this time. Anyways, the temporary protected status for Salvadorians who have been allowed to live and work legally in the United States since a pair of devastating earthquakes struck their country in 2001. The Department of Homeland Security said that this is because the damaged roads, schools, hospitals, homes, and water systems have been reconstructed since the earthquakes, and the Salvadorians no longer belonged in the program. The administration is giving Salvadorians in the program until September 2019 to get their affairs in order. After that, they will no longer have permission to stay in the country. Flu season is underway and in full force, and this year it's hitting epidemic levels. In California alone, 27 people under the age of 65 have died from the flu. That dwarfs the number of people that have died from marijuana in California's history, which still remains at 0. Just saying. Anyways, why is this year so bad? Well, the primary flu virus strain this year is influenza A, which has a much higher mortality rate than influenza B or C. Also, the flu shots don't work quite as well against influenza A, but wait, the flu shot still does allegedly help. It makes it less severe, and maybe you won't even catch it, which means you wouldn't spread it. Get a flu shot. U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention say that the number of cases this year is up sharply, with high activity reported in 26 states. There are extended waits in the emergency room department of up to 8 or 9 hours for a patient to be seen. What do they think this is, Canada? I thought this was only the type of thing that would happen if we passed universal health care. What's happening? What's happening?